GM of the Chiefs, Brett Veach, kind enough to call in to the Rich Eisen Show day after winning the Super Bowl. I'm sure that's got a nice ring to it right there. When was the first time you laid eyes on Patrick Mahomes, Brett?
Yeah, so we were just doing some film work. I guess it was in the spring, April-ish, right after the draft, April, May. Maybe late May. I guess it was after a sophomore year, and just going through some offensive lineman Tech had coming up, and peeking at a maybe kind of in quotes stat line quarterback, and watching him, and just remember him just flashing on the tape nonstop. The LSU bowl game, I think, was the first time you watch him and you're like, this kid's incredible, because he's out there playing. And LSU was loaded with draft picks on both sides of the football, and certainly Texas Tech was a little undermatched, but this kid single-handedly put the team on the back and made that game competitive. And he continues to do the same thing as we fast forward years later. Now he's a world champion, and I'm glad he's on our team.
So what was it like draft night in Philadelphia, Brett, of all places, and we'll get to that in a second for you, where the Bears traded up to the second overall spot? Were you holding your breath a little bit?
Yeah. I think, looking back on it, I think we felt like we were ahead of the curve in regards to Pat Mahomes. I mean, you never know, because some teams do a better job of others than not showing their hand. But I feel like we felt confident that, we were going to get him. However, I will say, and you know how this is, Rich, in the draft, there's always a run. So when the first corner goes, then boom, all the corners go. When the first tackle goes, boom, all the tackles go. So we felt like we were ahead of the curve on Pat Mahomes. But we, when Trubisky went at 2, we all got scared, because then we thought all the teams that, had Deshaun or Pat, waiting for the first one to fall, that there would be a landslide of calls trying to move up. I don't think we could have gotten higher than 10, so we were kind of pigeonholed at that. So I think, prior to the draft starting, we felt really good. But as soon as Mitch went 2, there was a little bit of nervousness, and that was all the way up until, I guess, Cincinnati took John Ross. But once they turned the card in, there were high fives around the table.
Yeah, I bet. And then just again last night, it's unbelievable. He really was having, statistically, for sure, one of his worst nights of his career. And then a 3rd and 15 throw to Tyreek Hill, and the whole heavens opened up 21 points later, in 6 minutes later, and you guys are hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. He really just has this ability to make a play and send a jolt through the entire 53-man roster and coaching staff that it's so unique. It's so rare to see it, Brett. It's so rare to see it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned he has that unique quality. He makes everyone around him better, and just like the head coach. I mean, they're very similar in that regard, and just like the head coach never wavers. And we were talking about this morning. It's hard to believe that with 6 minutes and change, we were down 10 points, and it was 3rd and 15, and then you snap your fingers, and we end up winning by 11 points. And that play was certainly, you can, like you said, you can feel the electricity in the stands when that, when that play happened. And it was almost like from that moment on, once Tyreek caught the ball and got tackled, we all felt in our box that we were going to do it, and we were going to pull this thing out. And, it was just a matter of time. But it happens quick, and certainly with a guy like Pat, before you blink, it happened in the Houston game, it happened in the Tennessee game, and then it happened again last night in the fourth quarter.
I am mandated to ask this, even though you are still picking confetti out of your hair and you haven't slept after a Super Bowl win. In terms of quickness, what about a stroke of the pen for him on a new deal? When do you start talking to him about that, Brett?
Well, I mean, the good thing is now we get to go back to KC and celebrate this, and we'll get back and celebrate with our fans tonight, and then we'll have a parade Wednesday or Thursday, and then then the off season begins, and that's the time we get to sit down and go over all the things we need to do to get back down here in Florida again next year in Tampa. But certainly he'll be the highest of priority.
For more of the Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live, or download the Rich Eisen Show app.